You've talked about your experience growing up with your father, how he was there for you. If you were talking to new fathers or soon-to-be dads, what bit of advice might you give them?
I would say, one, cherish every moment. I would secondly say, never stop learning, because every child is different. There will be commonalities in all children, but each child is different. I would also say, let your child become who they want to be and support whoever that is. I know that because of the support that I had from my family, I'm able to be the entertainer and the DJ that I am today, and I've always had my parents' support from day one. Whether I wanted to play baseball when I was younger, even though Dad was working a lot, Mom would take us to the baseball games and take us to practice. Or they would switch off and when I was in high school, being in the marching band. So for me, my parents always supported whatever it is I wanted to do, as long as it was something positive. It was literally my dad he kind of said it jokingly, but there's some truth to it. If you're going to be a bank robber, be the best bank robber there is. But that was something so again, I would say, don't necessarily force your children into what you want them to be. Find out what they like, and then expound on that. I think too many times we force our kids into playing football or basketball or something that almost like we're trying to live vicariously through our children.
Yeah, making them our trophies.
Right, exactly. And as opposed to doing that, find out what I found out 2 years ago my son loves tennis. Okay, well, he's going to tennis camp this summer.
Nice.
And he's good at it because he enjoys it. My son likes to draw. He likes to read. So it's like, if your kids, if you see a place where they excel, support them in that. Because it's something that they can own. Later in life, it can even become an outlet for them. Mm-hmm. It can even become a career for them. So I would just say, observe them, see what their likes and their loves are, and then just support them.
A lot of fathers go into it with these expectations. Go out the window.
Yeah, I would say I really would say that, because it's strange. I was growing up, it was kind of the opposite. My mother was into sports. My dad's not. My dad's into being a musician. Mm-hmm. So here it is. The typical roles were reversed. I mean, the Chicago Bulls would be playing basketball. You could hear my mother yelling in the living room, where my dad would be off into his man cave playing the piano or something like that, or listening to music. So again, I would say just let them be let them explore who they want to be, and then if you notice something, just support them as much as you can.
So, with your daughter from your previous marriage, you mentioned having custody of your daughter.
Yeah.
Tell me about what was going on around that time and how that came to be.
Well, for me, it was a choice. Being a DJ, celebrity DJ, whatever you want to call it, being an entertainer, but also being a dad first. I had a lot of help from my parents and from other family members, and from her godparents, my daughter's godparents. But I made a conscious choice. It was almost like you get to a point. I was at a point where, okay, do I choose my career or do I choose my child? And I chose my child over my career. I could have traveled around the country doing different being on different shows or doing different radio stations around the country. I had those opportunities, but I made a conscious choice to say, you know what, I can still have this and make sure my child is okay first.
Wow.
So I decided to put her first, but actually incorporate her into those decisions. Nice. So it wasn't, and actually, honestly, it wasn't for me. It wasn't really a tough decision. It was like, you're dad.
It was a no-brainer.
Yeah, it was like, you're dad. You're in a better position than mom to take care of her, and that's what you need to do, and that's what it is.
Wow.
It was that simple.
Looking back at that situation, if there are men in a similar situation who would like to do what you did, but are feeling some resistance from the moms, What advice would you give those guys specific?
I'm smiling a little bit, all joking aside though. Act like a man, think like a woman. I'm gonna expound on that.
Yeah, please do.
Let me just first say this. Conventionally, or it's been instilled in our minds that the court system is always for the mother. It's actually not true. Men have a tendency to make the mistakes of not following through with the system.
Okay.
And this is where I think it's always, well, she want to put me on child support. Well, it's your child. You're supporting your child. So regardless of who gets the custody, if that's your child, pay the child support. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, if you really want custody of that child, do what it takes to do that. Which means you gotta have a stable home. You gotta have stable income. You gotta show that you're gonna be the best parent for that child, to be the custodial parent. So men have to get out of thinking first thing that the court system is not in their favor, because remember, this is going back, and I got custody of my daughter when she was 3 years old. So we're talking about
20 years almost?
No, she's 21, so we're talking about 1990, 1999, 2000, give or take. Somewhere around in there.
17 years.
Yeah. So think about, again, it's always been the court system is in the woman's favor. No, you have to know. You got to get in front of that judge to show the judge that why should I choose you over the mother?
Do you think the men who don't do that sometimes are looking for a way out, or they just don't know?
I think some of it is that they don't know, because again, conventionally, the court system has been in the mother's favor. So you almost feel like it's almost like you're going into a competition that's already rigged.
Okay.
But if you think it's rigged, then it's going to be rigged, because you're going to give off kind of like that attitude. And that's another thing that I noticed. I've been in front of a couple of judges in family court. I realized that most of the judges lean towards the parent that seems to be the most even kid. Mm-hmm. If you're coming in there, this, that. I literally remember a judge getting upset because my ex-wife brought my daughter to court.
Wow.
And she, even though I was not responsible for it, but I realized how she was doing it, she read both of us the riot act. Don't you ever bring a child up into my courtroom. She didn't subpoena the child. So I would just say, you know what? Just show that you as a man, if you want to be that get primary custody of a child or full custody, whatever it is, show that you have things in the best interest for that child. Take the parenting class. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even to this day, my ex-wife never took a parenting class.
Oh, wow.
I took the parenting class. I was always very even kid. I didn't let you kind of have to take your emotions out of the situation, which is really tough. Mm-hmm. But take your emotions out of the situation. Think about what you want to do for this child and just be calm about it. Because usually it's us blowing up in court, mm-hmm. getting upset, showing our emotions, being angry, and that's it. The judge is going to see that as, oh yeah, he needs to be with mom. Right. Or she needs to be with mom.
So in a situation, if it's a daughter, mm-hmm. and this father's hearing, well, she needs her mama, it's a girl, what can a man do for the daughter? What do you tell that dad?
In my situation, one of the things that I always did, my daughter never heard me say anything negative about her mother in front of her. Mm. If I did have discussions about her, it was never with her in the room. She was never around. She never heard me say anything negative about her. Never. That's number one. And you're right. You know what? A girl needs a mother, and a young boy needs a father. Absolutely right. I did everything I could to make sure that my ex-wife was in our child's life. Mm-hmm. Now, she made some choices.
Okay.
That I wasn't happy with. And actually, at one point, it made me angry, because here it is in my mind. I'm making all this sacrifice to make sure my daughter has the best. And there were times when she didn't. She was supposed to come pick her up from my parents' house and wouldn't show up. And it bothered me. It also bothered my daughter, which affects her to this day.
Okay.
So I would just say, give the other parent the opportunity and let the child know that you're giving the parent the opportunity. Say, it may be tough to deal with, but it's like, okay, on Saturday and Sunday, you're spending the weekend at your mom's house. And do that. There was actually even a time, even though I was the custodial parent, I let my child go live with her mother. And it was the best and the worst time.
Learned a lot in that time.
I learned a lot. I learned that she was just like her mother. And you can't have both of them in the same house together.
Okay.
It was too much of a conflict. So I allowed her to move back in. But and this was maybe she was around 11, but you needed to see. But I also wanted her to see the lifestyle that we lived. We lived a certain lifestyle. That was in growing up. My parents later told me the truth. I thought we were rich growing up. Found out the truth. My parents would sacrifice bills so we could go on vacation, we could go to summer camp, we could do this. I did the same for my children.
Okay.
I do the same for my children. Your child does not, if something's wrong in the house, the child's not supposed to know. All they're supposed to do is have a care. If you're hungry, it's food in the refrigerator. If you want to entertain yourself, go watch TV or go read a book or go outside and play.
You do what you gotta do.
You do what you have to do. And I think that kind of sums it up. Do what you have to do that will be the best for the child.
Thank you, man.
All right. Pleasure.
Always.
Great.
So, this is Dr. Mercier with Kelly Davis, talking dads. Not just dads, but black fathers. Not only are we doing it, but they're doing it well. Keep it up, dads.